Do you ever feel like you're burning more gas even though you're shifting at 1500 RPM because someone told you lower RPM always saves fuel? Or maybe you notice your engine struggling and vibrating when you try to accelerate. Or maybe every time you drive slowly to save money, you end up with worse mileage than before? This isn't because fuel economy techniques don't work, it's just that most people do them completely wrong. There are 6 mistakes almost everyone makes with low RPM driving. Fix these, and I guarantee your wallet will thank you, and you'll start seeing real fuel savings like never before. So the first mistake has to do with forcing your engine to lug while ignoring the complete relationship between RPM, throttle position, and engine load. Try this simple test next time you're driving. Shift into 5th gear at 30 miles per hour and try to accelerate. Notice how the engine struggles and vibrates. Now try the same acceleration but shift at 2500 RPM instead. Notice how much smoother and more responsive the engine feels. When you're driving, if you shift too early and force your engine to work at dangerously low RPMs, you're going to create something called engine lugging, and doing so can actually increase your fuel consumption rather than decrease it. This happens because when an engine lugs, it's forced to work much harder at low revolutions, requiring significantly more throttle input to generate the same power output. Think of it like trying to pedal a bicycle in too high a gear at low speed. It makes pedaling harder and less efficient rather than easier. However, the perfect balance will vary for everyone. Some engines might do better around 2000 RPM, whereas others will feel better closer to 3000. But rather than pulling out a tachometer every time you drive, just focus on the relationship between RPM and throttle position. If you're pressing the gas pedal more than halfway just to maintain speed, your RPMs are too low, and you're wasting fuel. Because fuel consumption is more closely related to throttle opening and engine load rather than RPM alone. The key signs that you're lug include excessive vibration that can be felt throughout the vehicle, unresponsive throttle when attempting to accelerate, and a rough or growling exhaust note. When you force engines to operate at extremely low RPMs under load, you create excessive stress on the crankshaft, main bearings, dual mass flywheel, and gearbox. This mechanical stress can lead to expensive repairs, including potential crankshaft breakage, especially in smaller engines. More importantly for your wallet, the combustion process becomes dangerously inefficient at low RPMs with high load, leading to incomplete combustion that wastes fuel and causes carbon buildup inside the engine over time. The relationship between throttle input and fuel delivery is not linear, meaning that forcing the engine to work harder at low RPMs by increasing throttle input can actually consume more fuel than operating at slightly higher RPMs with lighter throttle input. Gasoline engines operate most efficiently at moderate to high throttle openings around 75% throttle, and moderate RPMs around 2500 RPM. Which contradicts the common assumption that very low RPM operation is always most efficient. However, what if you're using an automatic transmission? Well, generally modern automatics, including DSG units, tend to shift into higher gears early, often lugging the engine at low speeds around 1200 RPM due to EPA regulations prioritizing emissions ratings over real-world efficiency. If your car has a manual mode or sport mode, use it to prevent early shifting. On the other hand, if you only have basic drive mode, you can lightly modulate the throttle to keep the transmission from forcing the engine into lugging conditions. Now, in order to properly apply the previous tip, you need to first fix the second mistake, which is driving at completely wrong speeds while ignoring your engine's efficiency sweet spot and gear selection relationships. Most people think slower driving always saves fuel because they assume lower speed equals lower fuel consumption. But the reality depends on understanding how engine efficiency zones work with transmission gearing. For example, let's take a look at real-world testing that contradicts this assumption. During a trip from city A to city B at speeds of 110 to 120 kilometers per hour, the fuel average was 15 kilometers per liter. On the return trip, at the same speed but with optimized RPM management, the fuel average improved dramatically to 17 kilometers per liter. Even more surprising, a small car demonstrated this principle when driven slowly at 75 to 80 kilometers per hour due to visibility issues. The fuel economy dropped significantly to 12 kilometers per liter. But when driven normally at higher RPM and speed, the fuel economy improved substantially to 18 kilometers per liter. But finding the right speed and gear combination for your engine is actually quite simple. Most cars achieve their best fuel economy between 50 to 60 miles per hour, or roughly 80 to 90 kilometers per hour. This speed range allows most vehicles to operate in their highest gear at the lowest stable RPM without lugging. At the same RPM, higher gears translate to higher vehicle speeds. And since fuel efficiency is measured as distance traveled per unit fuel, traveling faster at the same RPM in a higher gear yields better fuel efficiency. The critical factor is that while less power is required at lower speeds, the engine runs longer to cover the same distance, potentially increasing total fuel consumption. Most vehicles achieve peak fuel efficiency somewhere between 2,000 to 3,000 RPM, with many sources pointing to around 2,500 RPM as optimal for various engine types. This efficiency zone often coincides with the engine's peak torque RPM range, where the engine produces the most torque per unit of fuel consumed. Different engines respond completely differently based on their design characteristics. Naturally aspirated engines tend to have peak efficiency near 2,500 RPM at around 80 kilopascal intake manifold pressure, while turbocharged engines often reach peak efficiency around 2,200 to 2,500 RPM. For diesel engines, optimum fuel efficiency typically occurs at peak torque RPM, usually between 1,600 and 2,000 RPM. Gasoline engines present a different scenario, where peak efficiency often occurs above 3,500 RPM. Though 2,000 to 3,000 RPM is generally the sweet spot for best fuel efficiency. Cars with higher low-end torque may consume more fuel at low RPM because they operate in the torque-producing range where fuel consumption is higher, since petrol engines consume the most fuel when producing good torque. This distinction is critical because many people apply diesel driving techniques to gasoline cars, leading to significant problems. Gasoline engines are designed to operate efficiently at higher RPM with lower load, while diesel engines operate optimally at lower RPM but under higher load. Using the highest gear possible without causing engine lugging maximizes fuel efficiency. Higher gears, such as 4th and 5th, have gear ratios closer to or below 1:1, creating an overdrive effect, where the wheels turn more than the engine. Lower gears inherently have poor fuel efficiency due to higher engine load and lower gear ratios, with fuel efficiency in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd gears being significantly worse, up to 50% lower, than in higher gears, even at low RPMs. Okay, so you're using the right speed and gear combination, and you're not lugging your engine, but there's the third mistake you want to avoid, which happens during coasting and involves completely misunderstanding modern fuel injection systems. You see, if you think coasting in neutral saves fuel because the engine is disconnected from the wheels, you'll tend to shift into neutral every time you need to slow down, and this usually creates continuous fuel consumption instead of the zero consumption you're trying to achieve. Some people think coasting in neutral saves fuel, but modern fuel injection systems work differently. When you coast in gear with your foot off the gas, the car's computer cuts fuel after about half a second. The engine keeps spinning because the wheels are turning it. No fuel is used during this time. But when you shift to neutral, the engine is no longer connected to the wheels. It has to stay running by itself. That means it keeps burning fuel to idle. Engines use about 0.2 to 0.4 gallons of fuel per hour while idling. One test showed that coasting just half a mile downhill in neutral burned around 0.32 ounces of fuel. So, instead of saving fuel, neutral coasting actually wastes it. Now, as for how to actually use this fuel cutoff feature, start by understanding that this system works within specific parameters. The fuel cutoff during coasting in gear activates above certain RPM thresholds, typically around 1,300 RPM for gasoline engines and approximately 1,100 RPM for diesel engines. Fuel cutoff typically occurs only when engine RPM remains above approximately 1,500 RPM while coasting in gear, with no throttle input. Above this threshold, even at higher RPMs such as 3,000 plus RPM during coasting, the engine uses no fuel because the fuel injectors are completely shut off. For longer downhill stretches, coasting in neutral can sometimes save more fuel overall. Even though the engine burns a little fuel to idle, the car can coast farther without engine braking slowing it down. The best method depends on how long and how far you're coasting. In some cases, neutral may come out ahead, but conditions matter. Cold weather or running the heater can stop the fuel cutoff system from working. That means even in gear, the engine might still use fuel. The fourth mistake has to do with following outdated transmission programming and ignoring manufacturer shift recommendations. Most people either follow generic early shifting advice or let their automatic transmission make decisions based on EPA emissions programming rather than real-world efficiency. Car makers test their engines carefully to find the best shift points for fuel efficiency and engine life. For example, Honda recommends shifting at around 3,000 to 3,500 RPM for their four-cylinder petrol engines. These suggestions match the engine's most efficient power range. Shifting too early, trying to save fuel, can actually hurt both mileage and engine health. Following the manufacturer's shift points usually gives better results than guessing on your own. Here's how to use that advice in real driving. For most four-cylinder petrol engines, shifting at around 3,000 RPM works best. It keeps the engine in its ideal power range, avoids the strain from shifting too early, and prevents the wasted fuel that comes with revving too high. For Volkswagen TDI diesel engines, the best shift range is usually between 1,700 and 2,100 RPM. Many drivers get the best fuel economy by cruising at about 2,000 RPM in top gear. The fifth mistake has to do with creating safety hazards and mechanical damage through extreme techniques. Most people focus so intensely on achieving the lowest possible RPM that they ignore the safety, traffic flow, and engine longevity consequences of their driving style. Notice how experienced drivers balance multiple factors rather than obsessing over a single metric. You may not realize it, but they're considering traffic safety, engine health, and practical efficiency, rather than pursuing extreme techniques that can backfire. Think about how driving well below prevailing traffic speeds creates dangerous conditions where faster-moving vehicles must constantly change lanes, brake, and accelerate around you. That's the safety problem you want to avoid every time you drive for fuel economy. Here's what happens inside the engine when you drive at very low RPMs under heavy load. Oil pressure drops because it depends on engine speed. Lower RPM means less pressure, and that means less oil reaches the critical parts that need protection the most. At the same time, the engine is working hard. The pistons are under heavy pressure from combustion, but they're moving slowly. This creates a condition where the thin layer of oil on the cylinder walls can be pushed away by the high forces inside the cylinder. Without enough piston speed to spread fresh oil, the walls stay dry. When that oil film is stripped off, the metal surfaces inside the engine begin to rub directly against each other. This causes extra heat, faster wear, and can even contaminate the oil with metal particles and combustion gases. Together, low oil pressure and stripped lubrication lead to poor protection for engine bearings and cylinder walls. Over time, this can result in serious engine damage or complete failure. Modern engines come with their own set of risks when driven at low RPMs. Gasoline direct injection engines, especially turbocharged ones, are known to suffer from a problem called low-speed pre-ignition. This is a type of engine knock that happens under load at low RPM. It can be very damaging and may lead to serious engine failure if it happens often. Turbocharged engines also behave differently when it comes to fuel economy. Turbo boost usually kicks in above certain RPM levels, often around 3,000 RPM. Driving just above or just below that point can change how much fuel the engine uses. In some cases, staying just below the boost range can improve fuel efficiency. In others, using light boost efficiently can actually be better. Cold weather makes these problems worse. When it's cold outside, engine oil is thicker, and metal parts shrink slightly. The engine takes longer to warm up to its proper working temperature. Until it warms up, fuel doesn't burn as cleanly or efficiently. This leads to higher fuel consumption and more wear. Driving slowly in cold weather makes the warm-up period even longer. The engine produces less heat at low speeds. Less heat means it stays cold for longer, which keeps combustion inefficient and fuel usage high. In diesel engines, running below about 1,500 RPM causes even more problems. At low RPM, there's not enough heat or air movement inside the engine. Diesel fuel needs heat and pressure to burn properly. Without that, the fuel doesn't burn all the way. That leaves behind unburned particles, which turn into soot and carbon deposits. These build up in places like the intake, pistons, and EGR system. Over time, this buildup can clog parts, reduce performance, and raise emissions. The sixth mistake is misunderstanding the difference between peak torque and peak efficiency, especially when trying fuel-saving tricks, like hypermiling. Many drivers think that because an engine makes its strongest pulling power, called peak torque, at higher RPMs, like 4,000 RPM, that this must also be where the engine is most efficient. But that's not true. Peak torque happens when the engine is under heavy load with the gas pedal pressed almost all the way down. This is for situations like merging onto a highway or towing, not for steady cruising. When you're cruising at light throttle, you're not using full power, so the torque peak doesn't matter. Holding the engine at 4,000 RPM while cruising actually wastes fuel and increases wear. Research by Dr. Steve Cousins found something surprising. Instead of accelerating slowly to save fuel, it's actually better to accelerate more quickly, up to around 2,000 RPM, then shift and repeat. This method works because engines are usually more efficient around 2,000 RPM, and quick shifts reduce the time spent in inefficient low RPM zones. Tests on a small car, the Citroën C1, showed this method used about 8.5% less fuel than traditional gentle driving. Some hypermiling techniques try to cruise at very low RPM, like 1,000 RPM, at 31 miles per hour in fifth gear. While this can work under perfect conditions, it's risky. It requires full attention, perfect timing, and usually only works with small engines between 1.3 and 1.6 liters, common in Europe, but not in countries where larger engines are the norm. The low RPM approach becomes particularly problematic when climbing hills, where maintaining speed in a high gear requires pushing the accelerator much harder, resulting in high throttle input at low RPM. If you have to floor it in a higher gear, you're likely wasting fuel, and should downshift to a lower gear that allows the engine to operate at higher RPM with less throttle input. Several experienced drivers and mechanics reference piston speed, measured in feet per minute, as a more fundamental measure of engine efficiency than RPM alone. The optimal piston speed range for good fuel efficiency is generally between 1,000 to 1,200 feet per minute. This metric accounts for stroke length and engine size differences, explaining how large engines operating at low RPM and small engines running at higher RPM can both achieve optimal efficiency. So the bottom line is that the key to real fuel savings is balance. Don't obsess over hitting the lowest possible RPM. Instead, focus on keeping your engine in its happy zone, avoiding both lugging at very low RPMs and over-revving at high RPMs. Most cars work best around 50 to 60 mph in their highest gear without the engine struggling. However, that said, regardless of what techniques you use, you need to consider safety and engine health together. Extreme low RPM driving often backfires, creating worse fuel economy and expensive repairs. Now I'm curious which of these low RPM driving mistakes you've been making. Drop a comment below and let me know if you've been forcing your engine to lug or driving too slowly thinking it saves gas. I read every comment and I'd love to hear about your real-world fuel economy experiences after applying these techniques. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.